Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have you ever wondered why it's so much easier to lose weight, follow your weight loss plan, or any plan for that matter during the month of Ramadan? I hope to be able to unpack this phenomena, and with that information, inshallah, you'd be able to be aware of why this is happening. And with that in mind, I hope to provide you with some actionable steps that you can take during the month of Ramadan and post Ramadan to keep you on track and on the path, inshallah. Before I break down this phenomena, I would like to set the stage, and by that I mean it's important to think about weight loss from the lens of two bodies. When I talk about these two bodies, there's the first body I'm referring to is the physical body, and the second body that I'm referring to is the spiritual body. The physical body is typically what most programs, weight loss programs, anything that secular focuses on, which is important, and I'll cover that very shortly. However, from our tradition, from an Islamic lens, there is this other body that is very real. It's mentioned in the Quran, the Hadith, and by our scholars. It's the soul. Now, the aspect of the soul that I will be focusing on today is particularly the nafs. I won't go into much depth because it can be quite complicated, but for today, when I refer to the soul or the spiritual body, I'll be talking about the nafs, and I will cover that very shortly, inshallah. For weight loss, from a secular or scientific angle, you essentially need to be in a calorie deficit. Calorie deficit on paper sounds very straightforward, but it is quite straightforward on paper. Your calories out need to be more than your calories in. Now, there are many factors that affect your calories in and your calories out. I won't be covering that in today's video. Inshallah, in the coming videos, I hope to be able to do a deeper dive into the science of weight loss. But for now, just keep that in your head that for you to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit, and your calories out need to be more than your calories in. Now, there are four main pillars that affect your calories out and your calories in. The first major pillar is nutrition, and this forms primarily the calories in portion. The other pillar is exercise, and when we talk about exercise, or when we refer to the calories out portion, people usually think about exercise, and exercise is a component of the calories out portion of the model, which you can very much control. Now, there are two other pillars that can affect both sides of the equation. That would be your stress and your sleep. Your sleep can affect your calories out and your calories in. So, for example, if you're tired, you may not be able to work out as effectively, and if you're tired, your body may trigger certain reactions in your body to make you eat more. Same thing for being stressed out. If you're too stressed out, it could affect your metabolism, and at the same time, it can very much affect your calories in. Stress eating, emotional eating, etc., etc. But at the core of it, to lose weight from a secular angle or from a scientific angle, you need to be in a calorie deficit. Calories out need to be more than your calories in, and there are four pillars that affect the calories in and calories out model: nutrition, exercise, sleep, and stress management. There are two other pillars from the Harvard model of health, which will be use of abusive substances and human connection, but I won't talk about those two, but essentially four pillars. And this part of the equation I refer to as the physical body, and that's what all programs focus on, what all weight loss programs focus on. However, there is some movement into the inner world, which is the mind, behavior change, identity, motivation, shift of identity, which technically is still part of the physical body, as the mind and the physical body from a secular angle are within the physical realm. The other body that is completely ignored in the secular world is the spiritual body. And Islam and our scholars say that the spiritual body is like our physical body. It's like flesh and bone, but we just cannot see it. Now, for the spiritual body, there are four parts, according to the Islamic model of the soul that was crafted by Dr. Abdullah Rothman. There's the ruh, which is the spirit that was blown into us before we entered the dunya, the qalb, which is the center of our soul, the aql, our intellect, and the nafs. The portion of the soul that affects us primarily is the nafs. And the nafs, these are desires that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in us to keep us alive. They're not bad. We need them to survive. But the problem with the nafs is that you do need to give them their due right. So we need to eat, we need to procreate, we need to provide for our families, we need to look after our physique. However, the problem with the nafs is that if you give them more than what they need, they become hungrier. And only a Muslim will be able to attest to this, because you cheat yourself. When you eat more than you should be eating, yeah, you start craving and get a little bit snacky, for example. Amongst all the nafs, there are many desires that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in us, but from a weight loss perspective, there are three desires that affect our weight loss and weight gain. And what are these three desires? It's the desire to eat, the desire to rest, and what we call over-engagement with the dunya. So within this set, there are a few other desires, especially from a busy Muslim man perspective. This could be engaging with the dunya because you want to chase wealth, protection of family, ego, status. From a female perspective, it could be the mental load of the family, it could be vanity, and these are just some examples out there. And with these desires, as you can see, the desire to eat is typically linked to your nutrition. The desire to rest is linked to your exercise. And over-engagement with the dunya is usually linked to stress and stress management and sleep. And that's sort of the connection between the two bodies. Now, for your desires, the way in which you need to discipline your desires is quite unique. So our desires, or the nafs, likes instant gratification. And Imam Ghazali speaks about using opposites to delay gratification. For example, the desire to eat, the opposite would be to fast. The desire to rest, the opposite would be to move more, to sleep less. Your tahajjud, your qiyamul layl, tarawih. And the opposite of over-engagement with the dunya is to disengage from the dunya through the remembrance of our Creator. And that can be through your Quran and your dhikr. And this is where the connection is made during the month of Ramadan. Why we're able to be a lot more consistent, and it's easier during the month of Ramadan, because during the month of Ramadan, we are fasting. We are moving more. Typically, we're more involved in the community. If you're going for tarawih, your prayers alone is movement, and you're sleeping less. Usually, the night time is the most blessed time, and generally people are sleeping less, so you're controlling this desire to rest. And it's the month of the Quran. You're remembering our Creator over and over again. With that, I hope that you can now see the connection between the spiritual body, the physical body, and the month of Ramadan. Why it's a lot easier to be more consistent during the month of Ramadan. So what are some practical steps that you can take forward during this month and post Ramadan? I'd like to start off with this month per se. If we were already naturally fasting, which is a good thing, what you could try and do to sort of weaken the whole of the nafs is to maybe increase your tahajjud, your night prayer, to sleep less. You could move more. You could move the body more intentionally, maybe for exercise, or maybe to be more involved in the community, to once again remove the hold of that desire to rest. And you could increase your remembrance through your reading of your Quran and your dhikr. So that's what you could do from a practical standpoint during the month of Ramadan, which inshallah would also affect your nutrition, exercise, stress management, and your sleep. Post Ramadan, it becomes slightly trickier, because one, we are doing less of it, primarily because the environment is not there. The shayateen come in, and we're just generally less motivated during the month of Ramadan, outside the month of Ramadan. So what can you do post Ramadan to keep this momentum going? I think number one, for fasting, it's the Monday, Thursday fast would be a good place to start if you can continue with it. But generally, some people struggle with that, myself included. So what you could incorporate post Ramadan is an intermittent fast. Whether you're doing a 12-hour, a 14 or 16-hour fast, in this case, you're using the night portion to fast, and then you're using the day to eat. So you're sort of flipping the fasting cycle around, which still allows you to control your desire to eat, continue some form of movement, whether it's a 15-minute workout, exercise, snacks, try and maintain the movement, and inshallah, try and continue with your night prayer. And the thing with the night prayer is that the night prayer, or tahajjud, starts after Maghrib. So it starts as soon as the sun sets. So if you cannot wake up early in the morning, you can start by incorporating the night prayer before you go to bed, as a way of trying to release or control the hold that the desire to rest has on you. And for over-engaging with the dunya, a simple way forward is to continue your recitation of the Quran, your dhikr. You may not be able to maintain the same level that you were at during the month of Ramadan, but inshallah, if you're able to maintain some form of remembrance, Hopefully, your desires will be under control. They will definitely be less control, but there will be more control of what they were before the month of Ramadan. And once the spiritual body is looked after, inshallah, the physical body will take care of itself. And with that, I come to the end of the video. For those of you who are looking for extra help, who need extra help with your weight loss journey, we do offer paid programs, and our paid programs are primarily for busy Muslim men. Do feel free to reach out to us. We offer a free consultation. If you need more resources, you can visit us at www.simplyfitmuslims.com. We have a free 7-day challenge, a free masterclass. There's a DIY program, which is very cost effective, costs $99 if you want to start on your own. And with that, our intention primarily is to bring brothers and sisters into battle. Inshallah, sisters soon. Stay tuned. But that's our real goal, to bring you into battle, and through the information and the knowledge to keep you in battle, because it's truly a difficult journey. We understand that. We've worked with over 70, close to 80 Muslim brothers, and we understand the struggle. It's truly not easy, but inshallah, our goal is to make your time on this dunya slightly easier, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of us for our efforts. And with that, blessed Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.